Hey everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. 2025 has been an amazing year for the Nintendo Switch, with tons of incredible games dropping throughout the year. Today, we're counting down the top 25 new games that came out in 2025. These are the titles you absolutely need to check out if you haven't already. Let's jump right in. Octopath Traveler 0 takes the series' turn-based foundation and pushes it into a more tactical direction, mixing its familiar break and boost system with an expanded party layout that lets you field 8 characters at once, 4 in the front and 4 supporting from the backline. This formation design adds a steady layer of strategy, especially since you can swap members mid-battle or trigger back row abilities without switching them in, giving every encounter a satisfying rhythm of planning and payoff. Exploration across Orstera feels broader thanks to more than 30 recruitable companions, each tied to distinct classes like Warrior, Thief, Scholar, or Architect, and assembling a team that fits your playstyle becomes one of the game's most rewarding loops. Instead of 8 separate stories, the narrative focuses on a single custom protagonist, whose journey blends revenge and rebuilding, with your destroyed hometown gradually restored through a lightweight town-building system that deepens the sense of progression. Fully voiced scenes and the long, unified storyline give the adventure a cohesive tone.
Works like a charm! Let me! Now!
Right. That hurt.
What should I do?
Marvel Cosmic Invasion brings a vibrant, arcade-style energy to the Switch, with a side-scrolling beat-em-up structure that feels fast, responsive, and built around constant action. You pick from a roster of 15 Marvel heroes, ranging from street-level icons to cosmic powerhouses, each carrying their own moveset with distinct combo paths, special abilities, and mobility options. The tag team Cosmic Swap system lets you choose 2 heroes per run and switch between them instantly, creating a dynamic flow where you can chain abilities, cover weaknesses, or recover a low-health partner on the fly. Levels move across Earth and deep space settings, shifting from city streets to the negative zone with colorful pixel art that blends retro flair and modern polish. The campaign follows a large-scale Marvel storyline as Ivalice unleashes a devastating invasion across the universe, with heroes uniting to counter the Annihilation Wave through a comic book-style arc that ties together diverse environments and character interactions. Co-op support up to 4 players enhances the experience, making each stage a chaotic mix of abilities and teamwork.
Set them all. Give them a taste of my radiance.
Go forth, spirit of vengeance.
Let's ride together. I'm fired up.
The Rogue Prince of Persia reimagines the series as a fast, fluid 2D roguelite, where every run blends acrobatic movement and sharp combat into a tight, replay-driven loop. You guide a prince defined by mobility, chaining wall runs, jumps, slides, and swings to flow through procedurally generated biomes that shift layout each attempt. Combat leans into flexibility. The prince carries melee and ranged weapons, swaps loadouts instantly, and enhances builds with medallions that modify attacks or defenses. The roguelite structure sends you back to the Oasis whenever you fall, a hub where upgrades, new weapons, and progression systems steadily expand your options. Over time, you shape your own style, from agile hit-and-run approaches to heavier, more aggressive setups. The hand-drawn art direction gives each region a distinct tone, supported by a soundtrack rooted in Persian influences blended with modern intensity. The story follows a prince trapped in a cycle of resets after triggering a Hunnic invasion, using his strange immortality to rewrite fate and defend his homeland. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment builds on the Musou formula with faster combat, richer mechanics, and a stronger connection to Zelda lore. You tear through massive enemy armies using characters with distinct combo routes, special attacks, and powerful finishers tied to weak point breaks. The addition of Zonai devices adds tactical variety, letting you trigger elemental tools or support gadgets that consume a battery gauge, turning battles into a mix of timing and resource management. A sync strike system encourages team play, allowing characters to unleash cooperative specials when their meters align, giving combat a satisfying sense of synergy. Local split screen and cross-console co-op make the experience even more energetic. The story shifts to ancient Hyrule during the imprisoning war, where Zelda is drawn into the past and joins figures like Rauru and Sonia as they unite tribes against Ganondorf's rising threat. The campaign blends mythic world-building, political alliances, and large-scale conflict, placing Zelda at the center of a defining chapter in the kingdom's history.
My power?
Amplified by the Zonai treasure in your possession, yes. Your secret stone. As for the light itself, it seems my theory about you was correct.
Metroid Prime 4 Beyond returns to the series' first-person exploration style, as Samus crash lands on the alien world of Vuros and must rebuild her arsenal while navigating jungles, ruins, and hostile ecosystems. The familiar rhythm of scanning environments, solving puzzles, and gradually unlocking new paths forms the core of progression. But this entry introduces psychic abilities that let Samus manipulate objects, redirect beam shots, and open new types of traversal and combat interactions. Combat still revolves around precise aiming, pattern recognition, and using newly acquired powers to expose enemy weaknesses, with expanded control options offering added flexibility. Exploration widens thanks to the Viola, a sleek motorcycle that allows fast traversal across large, hub-style regions without breaking the game's atmospheric pacing. The narrative follows Samus as she unravels the mystery behind her forced arrival on Vuros, encounters remnants of an ancient civilization, and confronts both native threats and familiar rivals tied to her past.
The Nintendo Switch 2 edition. In addition to standard controls, you can use mouse controls for intuitive gameplay on Switch 2. Plus, you can explore the immersive world in 4K.
The Lunar Remastered collection revitalizes two classic JRPGs, Silver Star Story and Eternal Blue, by preserving their heart while layering in modern enhancements. Both games keep their turn-based battle systems intact, focusing on party coordination, magic use, and light tactical positioning, now supported by faster battle speeds, cleaner UI, and improved auto-battle options that smooth out repetition. Exploration leans on story-driven progression rather than constant random encounters, letting character arcs and world-building take center stage. The remaster offers two visual modes, a faithful classic presentation and a polished widescreen update with sharper sprites, touched-up backgrounds, and refreshed voice work. Silver Star Story follows Alex's journey to become a Dragon Master, blending lighthearted camaraderie with high fantasy stakes, while Eternal Blue shifts centuries later to Hero and Lucia's quest, expanding the world's mythology with a more dramatic tone. Across both adventures, expressive 2D art, anime-style cutscenes, and a strong emotional core define the experience. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles updates a tactical classic with cleaner visuals, sharper menus, and a smoother flow, while preserving the depth that defines the series. Battles still unfold on isometric, grid-based maps, where positioning, terrain, and turn order drive every decision. And the flexible job system lets you shape each character through a mix of classes, abilities, and equipment that gradually unlock deeper strategies. Quality of life additions like fast-forward options make lengthy encounters less demanding, allowing the focus to stay on planning and execution rather than waiting on animations. The story follows Ramza Bjolv as he's pulled into the political turmoil of Ivalice, a kingdom fractured by noble rivalries, religious manipulation, and a brewing war that exposes corruption at every level. Ramza's journey, defined by shifting alliances and moral conflict, blends grounded political intrigue with darker, supernatural undertones, creating a narrative that feels mature and layered even today. Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector, continues the story of synthetic humans called Sleepers trying to survive in a corporate-controlled galaxy. You create your own sleeper character who's fleeing their former corporate owners while trying to help other sleepers escape the same fate. The game plays out in cycles, where you roll dice at the start of each day and assign them to different actions. Higher rolls mean better chances of success. You'll take on contracts to earn money, build relationships with the station's inhabitants, and make choices that affect both your survival and the larger story. The resource management is tense because you need to balance maintaining your synthetic body, earning credits for food and shelter, and working toward longer-term goals. Multiple storylines unfold simultaneously, based on which NPCs you help and which factions you align with. The writing is phenomenal, with complex characters dealing with themes of autonomy, corporate exploitation, and found family. Your choices have real consequences that lock you out of certain paths while opening others. The interface is clean and intuitive, presenting tons of information without feeling overwhelming. Neon Inferno delivers a fast, chaotic blend of run-and-gun action and gallery-style shooting, making every stage a barrage of enemies across both foreground and background layers. You constantly shift aim between planes, juggling threats while using tight movement, jumps, dodges, and melee counters to stay alive. Combat leans on skillful timing, especially when deflecting projectiles or triggering brief, slow-motion windows that let you reposition or return fire with precision. The game's pacing stays varied thanks to set-piece missions, motorcycle chases, rooftop sprints, and vehicle shootouts that break up the core side-scrolling flow with action movie flair. Co-op elevates the intensity further, letting two players divide enemy pressure and create stylish chaos together. Set in a neon-drenched cyberpunk New York torn between gangs, rogue cops, and corporate factions, the story frames each mission with light narrative beats as you play as Angelo or Mariana, assassins for a syndicate locked in a brutal turf war. Trails in the Sky First Chapter on Switch rebuilds the classic JRPG with modernized systems and a stronger sense of immersion, while keeping its strategic heart intact. Exploration flows through towns, routes, and scenic regions of Liberl, where side quests, evolving NPC dialogue, and Bracer Guild jobs deepen the sense of a living world. Battles shift into a tactical arena, governed by turn order, movement, and the interplay of arts, crafts, and powerful S-crafts, giving each encounter room for smart positioning and resource management. Customization revolves around orbments and quartz, letting you tune magic, support abilities, and stat boosts to shape characters into distinct roles. The remake's updated visuals, 3D environments, new models, and streamlined menus lift the experience without sacrificing its classic warmth. The story follows Estelle and Joshua Bright on what starts as a simple bracer apprenticeship, but steadily expands into a political mystery involving artifacts, military tensions, and hidden agendas threatening Liberl's peace. Their journey is rich with character growth, shifting party members, and a blend of humor, heartfelt moments, and rising stakes.
It's a beautiful day today. Perfect weather for exams!
What an opportunist. But that's what makes you Estelle, probably.
All right, next stop, the city of Roland.
Capcom Fighting Collection 2 brings together 8 classic fighting games from Capcom's arcade era, including Capcom vs. SNK, Capcom vs. SNK 2, Power Stone, Power Stone 2, and several others that have been stuck in arcade obscurity for decades. Each game has been faithfully preserved with pixel-perfect accuracy, while adding modern features like rollback netcode for smooth online matches, training modes, and galleries full of concept art and behind-the-scenes materials. The Capcom vs. SNK games let you build teams of fighters from both companies using different group systems that change how your super meter works and what defensive options you have available. Power Stone is the standout, with its arena-based 3D fighting, where you collect Power Stones scattered around interactive environments to transform into powerful forms with screen-filling super attacks. The collection includes both arcade and console versions of games where applicable, so you can experience the differences between releases. Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time, continues the story from the original game with a new protagonist who discovers she has the mysterious ability to manipulate time itself. The Kingdom of Castel faces a temporal crisis where past and future are bleeding together, and you need to master your time powers while also living out your fantasy life in this world. You pick from dozens of different life classes like Paladin, Wizard, Blacksmith, Tailor, Cook, Woodcutter, and many more, and you can switch between them whenever you want. Each life has its own skill progression, tools, and activities. Combat lives focus on fighting monsters in real-time action combat, while crafting lives let you gather materials and create equipment and items. The time manipulation mechanics let you rewind objects, freeze enemies in place, or fast-forward plant growth, and these powers integrate into both puzzle solving and combat. The story takes you across an expanded world map with new regions to explore, each filled with NPCs who have their own daily routines and requests. Multiplayer lets you team up with friends online to tackle tougher dungeons and bosses together. Bollock's Pit blends brick-breaker energy with roguelite structure, turning each run into a quick, chaotic climb through a vertical arena overflowing with enemies. You stand at the bottom and launch bouncing balls upward as monsters descend, juggling offense and survival while collecting gems and experience to unlock new ball types, passive boosts, and upgrade paths. The fusion system is the game's standout hook, letting you evolve special balls into stronger hybrids that freeze, burn, ricochet wildly, or stack damage over time, encouraging experimentation and synergy building. Between attempts, resources gathered in the pit are spent rebuilding New Babylon, a ruined city that functions as meta progress. New structures unlock characters, permanent bonuses, and expanded loadouts, giving every failed run a sense of forward momentum. Stages grow denser and more frantic the deeper you descend, with screen-filling projectiles and enemy waves demanding quick reflexes and smart ball placement. Absolum mixes classic side-scrolling brawler action with roguelite structure, creating a combat loop built on fluid combos, dodges, and character-specific abilities that feel distinct from one hero to the next. Each run begins with choosing rituals, passive bonuses that shape your elemental focus, damage style, or defensive perks, giving every attempt a different build path. As you fight through branching levels, defeating enemies fuels your Arcana meter, letting you unleash powerful magical techniques that add flair and tactical nuance to encounters. Death sends you back to the Hearth, a hub where you invest resources into permanent upgrades, unlock new characters, and expand the world's options, making long-term growth as rewarding as moment-to-moment combat. Co-op adds another layer of energy, letting players combine strengths and cover weaknesses. The story unfolds in Talum, a fantasy realm fractured by a magical disaster and ruled by the oppressive Sun King Azra, whose ban on magic sparks resistance. You play as part of a rebel group, dwarf, elf, assassin, frog mage, each contributing personality and style as you uncover lore, recruit allies, and chip away at Azra's forces. Kirby Air Riders brings back the series' unique auto-acceleration racing style, focusing on smooth steering, boosts, braking, and ability-driven tactics rather than traditional speed control. Each rider and machine pairing changes handling, speed, weight, and special abilities, giving the races a blend of accessibility and strategy. Classic Air Ride and Top Ride modes return with updated tracks, while City Trial delivers chaotic arena-style challenges where players scramble for power-ups before a final event. The new Road Trip mode adds structure through a sequence of races, battles, and missions tied to unlockable machines and items, giving solo play a sense of progression. A social lobby, online play, and local multiplayer make it easy to jump into sessions with friends, while the familiar checklist system steadily rewards objectives across all modes with new characters, vehicles, music, and cosmetics. The story weaves light adventure into the action as players confront Zora, a rogue machine seeking freedom, and face threats involving Noir DDD and the cosmic entity Galactic Nova. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound brings the series back to a fast, precision-focused 2D format built around tight controls, sharp platforming, and brutal, lightning-quick combat. You cut through most foes with single, decisive strikes, but tougher enemies and bosses demand timed dodges, careful spacing, and mastery of the hypercharge system, which rewards aggressive play by granting short bursts of high-damage power capable of breaking armored defenses. Movement is just as important as offense. Wall jumps, dashes, and rapid climbs give levels a rhythmic flow that blends platforming challenges with combat encounters in a seamless loop. The difficulty leans demanding yet fair, with advanced modes and extra missions for players seeking further mastery. The story follows Kenji Mozu of the Hayabusa clan and Kumori, a kunoichi from a rival faction, forced into an uneasy alliance when demons overwhelm their homeland. Their evolving partnership adds emotional grounding to the relentless action as they defend their village and uncover the larger threat behind the invasion. Enter Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist, is a Metroidvania set in a decaying fantasy world where an artificial being known as a homunculus awakens in the ruins of a fallen kingdom consumed by toxic mist. You play as Lilac, who has the unique ability to purify the corrupted spirits trapped in the mist and gain their powers to use in combat and exploration. The combat system lets you summon up to 3 purified spirits at once, each with different attack patterns and abilities. Some are melee-focused, others shoot projectiles, and some provide support buffs. You can swap between spirits on the fly to create combos and adapt to different enemy types. The world is gorgeously illustrated with hand-drawn art and animations that bring the melancholic atmosphere to life. As you explore, you'll find spirit remnants that tell the story of what happened to the kingdom through fragmented memories. New abilities from purified spirits unlock movement options like double jumps, air dashes, and phase shifting through certain walls. The map is interconnected with shortcuts that open up as you progress, making backtracking less tedious. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar builds its farming sim loop around a lively weekly market that defines the rhythm of life in Zephyrtown. Instead of relying on a simple shipping box, you prepare goods throughout the week: crops, animal products, crafted items, and then personally sell them at Saturday's Bazaar, where arranging your stall, attracting customers, and reacting to demand create a more active economic system. Daily routines still include planting, harvesting, caring for livestock, fishing, crafting, and gathering materials, but the constant push toward market day adds purpose to each task. As your bazaar rank grows, the town expands with new services, animals, and facilities, reinforcing a satisfying sense of progress. Social elements round out the experience. Villagers form relationships with you over time. New residents arrive, and friendships or romances develop alongside the bazaar's revival. The narrative centers on restoring Zephyrtown's faded marketplace, tying your farm work directly to the community's recovery. Shinobi Art of Vengeance brings Joe Musashi back in a sharply modernized 2D action platformer that mixes clean responsiveness with stylish, high-impact combat. Sword strikes, kunai throws, dodges, double jumps, and air dashes flow together into fast chains, while ninja arts add bursts of elemental power or tactical utility. Enemies can be staggered and marked, letting you trigger Shinobi executions, flashy finishers that wipe out all tagged foes at once, rewarding aggressive, well-timed offense. Levels hide optional routes, challenges, and upgrades, giving exploration a light Metroidvania flavor without slowing the pace. Combat grows more versatile as you unlock new tools and techniques, and adjustable difficulty options let players tune the experience. The story follows Musashi after ENE Corporation decimates the Oboro clan, fusing dark magic and advanced tech in its rise to power. Driven by duty and vengeance, he cuts through soldiers, creatures, and supernatural threats across global locations while exposing ENE's schemes and confronting its leaders. Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, takes the beloved farming RPG series to a new Japanese-inspired region called Azuma, where you play as a wandering guardian who settles in a village threatened by corrupted yokai and spiritual imbalances. The farming mechanics let you grow crops, raise monsters as livestock, and craft items, while the combat system has you exploring dungeons in real-time action battles using swords, spears, magic, or bare fists. What sets this entry apart is the Guardian system, where you bond with yokai spirits throughout the world and recruit them to help protect the village and fight alongside you in dungeons. Each yokai has unique abilities, both in combat and on the farm. Some can water crops instantly, others can till soil, and some provide combat buffs. The crafting system is incredibly deep, with weapon forging, cooking, medicine making, and accessory creation, all using materials gathered from farming and dungeon exploration. You can romance any of the eligible villagers, regardless of gender, building relationships through daily conversations, giving gifts, and completing personal requests. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition brings back the massive sci-fi RPG where humanity has fled to the planet Mira after Earth was destroyed in an alien conflict. You create your own character who joins Blade, an organization exploring Mira to find the Lifehold core that contains humanity's last hope for survival while dealing with hostile alien factions. The game takes place in one of the largest open worlds ever put on Switch, with 5 massive continents filled with creatures, resources, and secrets to discover. Combat happens in real time, where you control one character while AI teammates support you, using arts, which are special abilities tied to cooldown timers rather than mana. Positioning matters because attacking from the side or behind enemies deals extra damage, and you need to manage aggro so enemies don't overwhelm your healers. The class system lets you master different weapon combinations, and eventually, you can mix and match abilities from multiple classes to create your perfect build. Around 30 hours in, you unlock Skells, which are giant mechs you can pilot that completely transform exploration and combat by letting you fly across the world and take on massive enemies.
Open fire! Follow me!
Target in sight! Shadow strike!
Assault hammer!
Nice! Move in and do some damage!
Flame grenade! Almost there! Strength.
Hades 2 builds on its predecessor's roguelite foundation with a more flexible combat system and a wider range of ways to shape each run. You play as Melinui, whose weapons offer distinct attacks, specials, and magic-powered abilities that let you lean into melee, ranged, or spell-focused styles. Boons from the gods mix with Selene's hexes in the Arcana system, creating layered builds that shift dynamically as you move through procedurally generated arenas. Mobility is sharper with dash invulnerability, sprint options, and quick dash attacks that reward timing. Each attempt feeds into long-term progression at the crossroads, where you craft incantations, expand facilities, forge relationships, and refine weapons. The campaign is split between an underworld route and a surface path toward Olympus, each offering unique bosses, hazards, and loot. The story follows Melinui's struggle against Kronos, the titan who has seized the underworld, with guidance from Hecate and support from gods and spirits encountered across runs. Through repeated attempts, you uncover lore, strengthen bonds, and push deeper into realms shaped by myth and shifting fate.
It's slowing down.
Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake reimagines two foundational JRPGs with a vibrant mix of pixel art and modern lighting while keeping the core turn-based structure intact. Battles move faster thanks to streamlined menus and adjustable speeds, and the first game benefits from major upgrades like multi-enemy encounters and new systems such as sigils and scrolls that add early combat depth missing from the original. Both titles implement modern features like mini-medals, clearer navigation, and expanded exploration, making progression smoother and more rewarding. The second game broadens its world with new areas, including underwater regions, and adds richer cutscenes and party interactions to flesh out the journey. Across both adventures, exploration feels livelier through hidden items, improved dungeon layouts, and atmospheric HD 2D presentation. Story-wise, the remake follows the Erdrick lineage through two connected quests. First, as a lone hero confronting the Dragon Lord to save Alfgard, then as royal descendants uniting against Hargon's rising threat. With expanded lore, enhanced dungeons, and cinematic storytelling layered over its faithful mechanics, the remake offers a polished, accessible way to experience the origins of the Dragon Quest saga without losing their classic charm. Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 brings both cosmic adventures together with sharper visuals, smoother performance, and quality of life tweaks that modernize the originals without changing their core identity. The games still revolve around gravity-bending platforming, letting Mario sprint across tiny planets, leap between shifting gravitational fields, and solve environmental puzzles built around momentum and spatial awareness. Power Stars structure progression, with each galaxy acting as a compact playground full of themed challenges, creative twists, and carefully crafted obstacles. Classic moves, spin jumps, long jumps, wall kicks, combine with power-ups and Galaxy 2's Yoshi segments to keep traversal constantly inventive. Collecting star bits, triggering environmental mechanics, and mastering the flow of low-gravity movement give the platforming a unique rhythm. The narrative remains lighthearted, following Mario's journey across galaxies with help from Rosalina, the Lumas, and later Lubba, offering just enough context to support the sense of wonder. The Switch edition adds subtle presentation upgrades, clearer menus, optional assist features, and polished controls, making the experience more accessible while preserving the charm, creativity, and momentum that define these genre-defining platformers. Hollow Knight Silksong expands the Metroidvania formula with a faster, more agile hero and a world built around verticality, tension, and discovery. Hornet's movement sets the tone. She dashes, leaps, climbs, and strikes with a needle that doubles as both weapon and traversal tool, giving combat a sharp, rhythmic flow. The Silk Meter fuels instant multi-point healing and powerful Silk skills, letting you pivot between offense and survival with more flexibility than in the original game. Loadouts evolve through tools and crests, which shift Hornet's speed, reach, and special abilities, encouraging experimentation as new regions reshape your approach. Farloom itself is vast and layered, filled with handcrafted biomes, hidden routes, and side quests, called wishes, that ground exploration in character-driven stories. The atmosphere blends eerie beauty with a sense of decay as the kingdom suffers under the haunting, a force twisting its inhabitants. Hornet's ascent toward the Citadel at the summit pushes her through political intrigue, ancient Silkcraft lore, and hostile factions, creating a journey that feels more purposeful and narrative-rich. And there you have it, the top 25 new Nintendo Switch games released in 2025. From massive RPGs to revolutionary platformers, and the sequel we've all been waiting years for, this year absolutely delivered some unforgettable experiences. What's been your game of the year so far? Are you playing through any of these right now? Let me know in the comments. I love hearing what you all are enjoying. If this video helped you decide what to play next, hit that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.